Gentlemen, if you thought last Tuesday, we recorded this on Tuesday, it was a holy day. This might be the holiest day for the Vox Cascadia podcast. Not only is it Battlefield 6 Season 3 debut, it's also Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 8, Upgrade of Horribles came out today. So
that's a thick book.
It's a thick book. Actually, and I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. The pages are actually thinner than the other books, so it doesn't have to be like a giant tome. So, but we're not here to talk about that. We'll talk about it in the after show. So welcome everybody. My name's Chuck. We're here joined by Tyler, and we've got a guest tonight, Tanner. Tanner, welcome to the podcast. Tanner, you're a Patreon even too.
I am. Yeah, I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Tanner's one of our locals here in the Vancouver scene. And Tyler and I spent a much time with him up at the Cascade Clash, and had a really good time, and like fantastic player too. And so Tanner came on to talk about the Spectre Squad. But before we get to that, Tyler, what have you been up to lately?
Just working. Got a pinched nerve in my arm, so mobility is small. Other than that, just living that Tamagotchi life,
I don't get it.
No,
I heard about that last week when I was watching the podcast, or whenever you were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to look it up.
I mean, like it's literally you just like create little voodoo dolls of like all your friends or celebrities or characters you like, and you throw them on an island. Okay,
is it like a video game?
Yeah. Okay. So like it's like you throw them in like an Animal Crossing.
No, he's just actually making voodoo dolls.
Absolutely, yeah. This is just my hobby at home. So if you know me, there's likely a voodoo doll hanging in my house. Yeah, his hair snatched. But like you just throw them on the island, and then they live their lives, and you can draw stuff and give it to them. And they go on weird adventures just randomly. They have weird interactions. It's just kind of funny. It's like one of those things. It's like a digital aquarium of your friends, made by like surrealist.
Kind of a creepy way to describe it, I feel like, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's awesome. Definitely a creepy game, but like games like The Sims, like when they were like violent video games, we need to watch those kids. It wasn't the violent video games ever. It wasn't ever those people.
It was The Sims.
It was The Sims people. Like you ever open up your friend's sim game and like you're like looking through the town and you're like, oh, you've got all of the residents in a human zoo in your basement with like a chair in the center. That's really worrying, like maybe I shouldn't be friends with you anymore kind of thing.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. So, I mean, like that's happened more than once to me,
You've been in a basement in a chair?
No, I've seen someone sim and it's,
that you've put someone in a basement in a chair?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to clarify. That was your previous marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, Tanner, let's get to know you a little bit. So, you're here in Les Couves with me. But what got you into Kill Team, and how do you find yourself here on a Tuesday night to talk about a new team?
Yeah. So I got into Kill Team, I think, like many other people, after playing Space Marine 2 when that came out. So I started Kill Team like right when 3rd edition dropped. And I was kind of like back and forth between that and 40K, like Big Hammer. I played at the Red Gobbo tournament. That was my first Kill Team tournament was there.
Nice.
And I had like a few months after that where I was like doing a Kill Team tournament one weekend and then a 40K tournament the next weekend, like over and over again. I was pretty, that burned me out a little bit, but eventually I just decided to stick with Kill Team because primarily, I mean, I love the game. It's a great game. But primarily it was the community that kind of drew me in and latched on. People like you guys going to your tournaments and just seeing like the energy everyone brings. CB was probably a big influence too. CB likes to make sure everyone's included and, just go around and like, CB would go around and introduce me to everyone. And so just the community. And we got something good going on over at Contrarian Games in Vancouver. we started with like just a couple of us, me and Jed and a couple other people, and now we've got our league going. I think we've got 20 people in it, so which is probably half of that is like the mind taker guys, but overall, yeah, that's been growing. And yeah, I've just been I like the like strategic and competitive kind of aspects too, so I've been hitting a lot of tournaments over the past year and a half, or however long it's been since third edition dropped. So been having some pretty good success on the tournament circuit. So yeah, having a great time.
I was actually really surprised when you told me you'd only been in the scene like a year and a half or so, because we'd like when we were at the Clash, got to know you a little bit better, and I would have guessed you've been doing this for a long time, because you have a like very great mind about the game. You really seem to break stuff down. You're a great player too. So made me feel a little bad, because like you're better than me, and I've been doing this for way longer than you. But no, so it's fantastic that you're that you pick it up so quick, and that's part of the reason we brought you on tonight, is because I feel like you don't seem to like I'm like, hey, give me six operatives and 14 wounds and 3 APL, and like I don't want to have to think about it. And you're I need the most complex fucking team I can find.
Yeah, I played Sanctifiers a lot. That was the first time we played against each other, was at Tacoma. And played a lot of Sanctifiers. Playing Brood Brothers now as my main team. Playing Battleclade in our league. I like the kind of tons of activations, lots of like tricks they can pull off, movement shenanigans. I like those kinds of teams. I do enjoy playing elite teams every so often, but yeah, I'm more of a horde guy at heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and you stomped me at Tacoma pretty soundly. And I was in my like prime Orceus guy Rekka mode, and you still took me out back and gave me a whooping.
Yeah, I was on a high at Tacoma, and Sanctifiers were kind of busted. So and Rekkas, they didn't have their charge to get APL thing yet, so I definitely abused that.
Did you make top cut?
No, I went 3-1. I lost my very first game to Hunter, infamous Mandrakes player.
Fucking
Hunter
Mandrakes.
That's my most hated team.
Understandable.
And so I played against Hunter in the very first game, lost that, but then went 3-1. But just tiebreakers and stuff, I didn't make the top cut. So I was in like the second bracket, and then went undefeated the second day. So I finished in 10th, I think. Which was, I was hoping to get like 3 wins. So that kind of like, was a great time.
And that's part of the reason I was like, he's been doing this forever. Like super complex team like Sanctifiers played him really well and had a great showing at Tacoma. And then to find out that you've been doing it for, at that point, like not even a year, like maybe a year. So yeah. So
I just lie awake at night reading the rules for every team. If I'm like, I don't know what Warp Coven does, I'm just reading their rules late at night. Although no one around here really plays Warp Coven.
My thing is like I don't even read my own rules basically. So yeah, Tyler, do you cry yourself asleep at night reading?
I used to. I haven't recently. I'm less stressed about the rules and more stressed about running a good event these days. I know the rules well enough, but
I played against you at Mindtaker and you kicked my butt on Goremongers.
Yeah, I'm all right. I can make it work with the teams that I know my teams well enough, and I understand the mechanics of most teams. Do I know I'm 100%? Am I going to get all the gotchas? No, you're going to get me with some of them. But we're gonna have a good game. I'm gonna make you earn it if you beat me. So
love it.
Well, Tanner, you're so actually, and anybody listened to the podcast last week knew that I was kind of upset with the lack of information we got about Spectre Squad, and we recorded this on Tuesday, and I was adamant that this is bullshit. Why is GW doing this to us? And then Wednesday morning they dropped the entire rule set.
Yep.
And
that was a surprise.
Is there something you guys would like me to bitch about? So Games Workshop just puts it out tomorrow and I look like a fool? Like,
I mean, a roadmap. Like, we're never going to get a roadmap.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
Yeah,
so
bullshit.
Yeah. I just want another roadmap, man. I want to know what's coming next season. So,
I was hoping for the Chem Dogs. There was some whispers about that being the team, but then we got Spectre Squad. We got Tanith Light.
I think it still could be. Like, I still think it could be because, like, I've read 2 recent publications, so the Chem Dogs book, okay, and then also the most recent Ghost Legion book, and both feature Chem Dogs prominently, and they're both escorted by a commissar in both situations, and they both loot weapons, and they have their drugs. So, like, we have like a consistent theme, and there's never really been writing about them before, and we get a book where it specifically mentions it, even though it wasn't the most kill teamy book. I haven't
checked out the books that they're in, but they've to me it seemed like they have like a very Necromunda kind of vibe to them, and I just love the like aesthetic of Necromunda. Did a campaign of that last year, and so I think it'd be really cool to get a team like that.
I think that's
super
cool.
My Spectre Squad proxy team is a bunch of Necromunda models, so
heck yeah. What'd you build them out
of? I've got a few of the guys. They're Ash Waste Nomads. I've got, what else do I have? They have like a box of like 6 random like hangers on, they call them. Random mercenary dudes. And then I've got one Gaunt's Ghost guy as my sergeant. Just slapped a bionic arm on him, and then I kit bashed a couple Krieg dudes for like the loader guy, like running with like a mortar shell or a rocket or whatever for the loader. So just kind of a bunch of random stuff. I'm still getting the box, and I'm probably just going to use the normal models, but it's fun to use random dudes.
Yeah,
for a little bit.
Well, you've got a couple games in them with them now, right?
I have, yeah. I played 3 games. Having a really great time playing them so far. I wasn't so sure about them when I first read the rules, but after digesting them a little bit and talking with some of the other guys in our area and some people on the Command Point Discord, I think this team is really good. And I may be proved wrong about that, but I like them.
Well, I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of looking at the rules, and myself included, and thinking like, oh, they got like 2-3 las carbines, and like they hit on 3s, but they don't really have a lot of punch. And once you kill the Melta, they're dead. But you seem very positive on them, so I like that because I'm getting the box too. So
yeah, they've got more than just the Melta. They got some other stuff going on. They got a rocket launcher, and they can shoot 3 times without counteracts in one turning point. So watch out, Yeah.
And then they also got the off-screen sniper, right?
They do have the off-screen sniper that you have to determine valid target based on your own model for.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more like what's that team? Star Striders, where it's like they determine cover from above or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a great tool to have.
Let's get into it. So talk to us. We'll let you lead the way on this because Tyler and I don't know anything about them.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just go through, kind of start with their faction rules, and we'll go from there. So I'll get the boring one out of the way. One of their faction rules is camo cloaks, so they get double cover saves or retain one as a crit if they have cover. That's a fine rule for like snipers on some teams, but I went through every team and I checked, and there's 47 kill teams, and 42 of them have a built-in source of saturate, and every team can get saturate with grenade equipment. So I have had it come into play in one of my games quite a bit, and it was really clutch. But that was against Canoptic, which is one of the only teams that doesn't get saturate. So fine, kind of mediocre when the trade off is that they have 5-up saves, and they have no way of ignoring saturate. So, and there's there's a lot of sniper operatives on teams that have the double cover save and ignore saturate, and even Kroot have a ploy to just give their entire team ignore saturate and double cover saves. So there's there's precedent for a whole team getting it. So I think they should have some way to ignore saturate. They've got an equipment that I'll talk about that's maybe a source where they could add that, but I don't know. So that was probably my biggest concern when I first read the rules was just their ability to survive stuff. But the way that they survive stuff is through their other faction rule, which is really cool. It's called Elite Fieldcraft. So basically, twice per turning point, when an enemy operative activates on engage, after they finish performing an action, you can interrupt their activation and either shoot, reposition, or dash. The movement has to be away from that operative. You can't end closer to them. You can't end closer to the enemy drop zone, but it can get you out of a tight spot. And if you reposition, you're not allowed to reposition again in the turning point. But if you dash, you can still reposition and dash during your activation. And you can also shoot point blank because their melee is really crappy. So if someone charges you, you can just say, all right, well, I probably won't survive melee, so I'm just gonna shoot you point blank with my rocket launcher and see what happens. So it's the same point blank rules as guard. You are one worse to hit, and if you don't kill your opponent, then if they fight you, then you don't get to roll dice. So kind of risky, but it's got some cool utility. You could also just if they charge someone unimportant, you could just let them kill that operative and then fieldcraft with someone else that's not in control range of them and just blast them. And then you get to activate after that because you can only use it on ready operatives with one exception. So, Space Marine charges, kills one of your guys, is stuck there hanging out. You fieldcraft, shoot him with a rocket, and then he, maybe dies or survives, and then you just activate the rocket and shoot him again. They also have a sniper overwatch equipment that we talked about a little bit that has silent. So you could flip to engage on fieldcraft, shoot him, and then activate and flip back to conceal and use the sniper overwatch equipment so that you end your activation on conceal, but you still get to shoot. They've got a lot of little shenanigans like that they can do.
So do you find yourself with the Elite Fieldcraft, do you find yourself doing it at the end of an activation, or do you find yourself kind of interrupting activations, or a little bit of both?
So I played against Celestians in my first game as them. I can't remember. I didn't actually get charged a ton. He was trying to shoot me a lot because you don't get to use fieldcraft if they're on conceal. You do have a firefight ploy where you can use a fieldcraft point if an operative is on conceal and within 8 inches of you. So they do have one way to do it on conceal, but yeah, they were kind of shooting me to death. And then I played against Canoptic, and I was just Canoptic. I don't think is going to have a good time against this team most of the time because they don't really want to melee. The only guys that they throw into melee generally are the little dudes. They're the guys that are up in the front, and their melee is crap. And these guys can actually survive melee with them. So most of the time they're going to move and then try and shoot you. But as soon as they finish moving, you can just interrupt and shoot them first. So, and they have no saturate. Like I said before, I played against Eugene last night. Eugene, who won the tournament at Mindtaker a couple months ago. He was playing Canoptic. It was his first game with Canoptic, but he had a really hard time killing me. I only lost, I think, one operative. I had my Grenadier survived 2 shots from Tomb Crawlers and a shot from a warrior and melee from a warrior and stayed alive on 1 wound. So the double cover save does come in clutch sometimes. I think ideally you're going to shoot people that are kind of like moving out in the open and catching them out. There's a pretty cool operative they have with a stubber that you can kind of pull some tricks with. I'll talk about that when I talk about the operatives in a minute. But yeah, Fieldcraft, really fun rule, really unique. It's gonna throw a lot of people off. This team just puts threats all over the place, and you basically are just trying to set it up so that no matter what your opponent does, they are going to get punished for it.
That makes sense.
So,
it seems like a lot of control over flow of the game is what this team is executing, which seems I think it looks really cool. I'm very interested in making this team.
Yeah,
so.
it's going to be a lot of like, all right, well, if you do that, I'm going to do that kind of thing in games. So, and they're gonna create some rules questions. I was talking with some of the guys on the Discord about interactions with the Tremor Scythe Ravener because it can interrupt an activation, but you can interrupt its interrupts. So there's just some interesting interactions there that happen with this rule. So yeah, that's their faction rules. I guess we can talk about operatives now.
Yeah.
Going to operatives. Basic
stat line on the team is 6-inch move, 2 APL, 5 up saves, and 8 wounds. Everyone has that. The leader has 9 wounds. They get, for anyone that's not like a specialist, they get 2 weapon options. It's either a las carbine, which is 4 on 3s, 2/3 damage rending, or a las rifle, which is 4 on 3s, 2/3 lethal 5 heavy reposition. People have been doing the math, and it's like an average of 3 damage with either gun against most operatives, or I guess against the Space Marine, but it's like the damage difference is not as negligible like when you get into like the math of it between these two guns. So I feel like las carbine is probably the way to go, because heavy reposition is annoying. Maybe if you're playing against like Felgor, you take las rifles just to have like a better chance of getting at least 1 crit when you're trying to finish them off when they're frenzied. But you're probably not really going to be shooting those guns very much anyways. Their melee sucks across the board. It's 3 attacks on 4s, 2/3 damage, no weapon rules. The leader has 3 attacks on 3/4 damage, and that's as good as it gets. And speaking of the leader, he's the sergeant. He's got a pretty decent las carbine. He's got a scoped las carbine. It's 4 attacks hitting on 3, 2/3 damage, lethal 5, and rending. It seems pretty weak, but I've had a couple shots with it where I got 3 crits, and you're putting through 8-9 damage with it. It's pretty decent. And they have a way to get devastating 1 on their weapons, so it can put in some work. He's got the bionic arm, which is, like I said before, 3 on 3s, 3/4 damage, no weapon rules. His ability lets him target an expended friendly operative and allow them to use a fieldcraft point, even though they're expended. Normally they have to be ready to trigger fieldcraft. It's a pretty good ability, but that's really all he has, is those okay weapons and that ability that's gonna probably be hard to pull off against people that know how to play against this team, because like you're gonna throw someone up in an advantageous position to do something with fieldcraft, and then they're just gonna get killed before you can put the leader's ability on them, because you can't put it on them unless they're already expended. I'm probably gonna get I've already said this to people before, and some people agree and some people don't, but I think this is the worst leader operative in the game. Like just
even over the
Inquisition
guy,
or everyone guy? that's the one clapback that everyone has, is the Inquisition leader. I think the Inquisition leader is bad. He does also give his team -1 attack and +1 attack, which is pretty good. It's pretty hard to get to pull it off sometimes, but I don't know. That's probably the only operative that might be worse than him, but he is definitely one of the worst leader operatives. He's a good operative on his own, but as the leader of a team, I don't think he's very good. I think he needs like 1 more ability, like use a firefight ploy for free or something like that. Or like, I don't know, like make him similar to like the other 8 wound 10 operative teams like the dwarves, or you give him like a just a scratch or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just needs like one more little thing to make him feel like an actual leader operative.
5-up feel no pain. That's why he's got the bionic arm.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something. Give his arm some weapon rules or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the leader. He's got same stat line as everyone. He just has 9 wounds. Then they have the medic. It's a medic. It's just like the Kazarkin medic where he can heal for 0 APL, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a grenadier, which is like the Kazarkin Melta mine guy. He has the same exact mine that he can put down. It's 2d6 plus 3 damage when they step on it. But he can also throw grenades, cracks and frags for hitting on 3s, and then he can throw smokes. Doesn't get stuns. They've got the gunner, which is plasma or melta. You don't get to take 2 gunners, only 1. They've got the guide. The guide is a super cool operative. He gives you an extra equipment, which is always nice now that there's no scouting. You have to choose either a terrain equipment or an ammo cache, which in 99% of games you're probably taking a terrain equipment anyways, so the restriction isn't really that bad. Especially because you especially take terrain equipment because of his other ability, which so at the start of the game when you pick him as an operative, your all the terrain in your territory is considered to be scouted, and it stays that way even if he dies. I mean, maybe someone has an argument that it doesn't stay that way. It doesn't specifically say that this ability goes away when he dies or doesn't go away when he dies. So my interpretation is that it does not go away because it doesn't say it does.
Yeah.
Anyways, the ability, if you're climbing a piece of scouted terrain, which is anything in your territory or within 3 inches of the guide himself, you get to ignore the first 2 inches of a climb. And I play a lot of Brood Brothers, and they have that as a strat ploy, and it is very, very strong for setting up like non-reciprocal threats. Just putting down a light barricade and sitting back an inch from it, or like within an inch, so you can't get charged, and giving people a hard time getting into your home objective or whatever, and they can just run right through it basically. And on Tomb World or Into the Dark, they also any scouted area of the board they can open hatch for free, which is also very good. I think Breachers maybe has that as an equipment or something.
That's a huge deal on a 2 APL team too.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah. It makes them feel like, if you give them +1 APL, it makes them feel like 4 APL sometimes. So it's pretty nice to be able to do that. So guide, super cool operative. The fact that his ability doesn't go away when he dies means that he's a good kind of like throw him forward and do a risky move to try and score some points type thing and not really worry that much when he gets murdered. So yeah, cool operative. Then they've got the heavy gunner. He's got a rocket launcher. It's the same profile as the Nemesis Claw rocket launcher, except it has full heavy instead of heavy reposition because he's not a space marine, so he can't run around with the rocket launcher very well. There's another operative called the loader. If he starts his activation next to the loader, he gets heavy dash. So he can move around a little bit and still shoot. But I feel like this is a guy you probably want to put in like a decent spot where he can see a lot of the board. And then just have him fieldcraft interrupt to shoot people when they're trying to mess up your team.
Because the loader can basically tell anybody to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So the loader has an action that he just runs up to someone within control range and says, "Hey, shoot that guy," and they can flip to engage and shoot. He also gives out a dice reroll if you're within control range of him. So there's a little bit of an awkward design there between the heavy gunner and the loader because it kind of feels like they're meant to be together. Because I mean, the loader operative is literally carrying a rocket, so you can use them on to help anyone reroll or make anyone shoot. Though it doesn't need to be the heavy gunner, but like if the heavy gunner starts within control range of the loader, he gets heavy dash. But then if you dash out of control range, then you give up the dice reroll that the loader gives you. So it's kind of like a weird design there. But still, getting rerolls on this team is a big deal because they don't have a lot of access to good rerolls. The only downside to the loader is you walk up to someone, you tell them to flip to engage and shoot. and then you're ending your activation sitting next to them, and they're unengaged, so you're going to get blasted most likely. So, and you can't dash or shoot with the loader if you command someone to shoot. So you can't reposition, tell them to shoot, and then dash away. You could reposition away from them if you start your activation next to them and then command them to shoot and then run away from them. But the rule also says they can change their order to shoot. So my interpretation of that, and maybe one of the rules guru dudes is going to correct me on this, but to me that says if I have the sniper equipment that has silent on it, I can flip back to conceal. I don't have to be flipping from conceal to engage.
If it doesn't specify that you have to go to engage,
Yeah, it just says they can change their order to do so. So to me, that says if they're on engage already, you can walk up to them and be like, "Hey, whip out that sniper rifle," and they can flip back to conceal and shoot it.
Yeah.
I know they can shoot it on engage, but still. So that's a pretty nice use case. I mean, maybe just like want to keep an operative alive, and you just take a really super obscured shot just to use the sniper rifle and be able to flip them back to conceal, even though you're not going to do any damage. So there's some utility there. Then they have the sharpshooter. It's just a generic sniper. He's got a heavy profile. He's got 2 heavy profiles. I think one is just the concealed shot and one is the non-concealed shot. And then he's got a bolter profile that's mobile. He doesn't have a heavy keyword on it. Trend with this team though, a lot of heavy keywords on their weapons. So he's a sniper. Then they have the stub gunner. This operative is really cool. He also has a heavy weapon. He's got 3 profiles. He's got a 5 attacks hitting on 3, 3, 4 profile that's heavy dash. And he's got a 4 attacks hitting on 3, 3, 4 that's heavy dash and torrent 1, which is like a similar profile to like all heavy bolters, I think, have that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's also got a 3rd profile that's 5 attacks hitting on 5s, 0 damage, seek light, and stun. So that's a pretty cool, and that's full heavy. You can't move with that one, but pretty cool little thing you can do. I think it'd be funny on Tomb World if you like Turning Point 1, people are moving up into light cover, and you just start them at the door and you tell them to shoot them and then just close the door for free. Although I guess you would still have an action, but still, pretty interesting profile. You can use it when you get charged too. It will be hitting on 6s, but 5 attacks, you have a decent chance of rolling a 6, and you can maybe just end their activation if their last action would be used to fight you.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. He also has an ability where if he's on engage, if any enemy operatives are within 3 inches of him, then they have -1 to their attack stat, even if they're in melee. He doesn't get to. I think the only restriction is he can't charge into someone and get that benefit on his activation. But he can. There's some interesting. I haven't like tried this, but some interesting like theory crafting that people been saying where like basically you just throw a smoke grenade down, put him on engage in the smoke grenade, so you're obscured. Assuming the enemy team can't ignore obscuring, you're obscured. They either shoot you obscured and then you shoot them back with fieldcraft, or they move within 2 inches of you and you shoot them with fieldcraft anyways. And this team has an equipment that allows them to ignore obscuring, so he can sit in the smoke grenade and shoot people unobscured. And then if they move within 3 inches of you, then they're -1 attack. Pretty interesting. And he's probably a little better than other operatives at surviving melee because of the -1 attack thing if he's on engage. Pretty cool operative. Then they have the trooper, just a generic trooper. Their ability is they get 1 free use of fieldcraft per turning point, but only for 1 trooper. So you can't take 9 troopers and just have a bunch of dudes interrupting every single activation.
So that was kind of interesting that most teams can take multiple troopers, but maybe that's why, so you don't have a million fieldcraft interruptions.
Yeah, well, I think you can take multiple troopers, but you can only use their ability once per turning point across the whole team.
I think I was looking at the team selection, and I think it actually says like it's.
Oh, does it?
It's starred as one of the ones you can only take 1 of, actually.
There's no reason to ever take more than 1 anyways.
Sure.
And you don't get 1 by default if you take all the specialists.
Okay.
So I think the only reason you take this operative, maybe this will change as people develop more opinions on the team. I think the only time you take this operative is, if you're playing against a heavy melee team, you just drop the medic for this guy, so you get the extra use of fieldcraft. So that's probably the only reason. And then they have their Vox operator, gives out APL, just requires visibility. And he's the reason you get 2 fieldcraft points. So if he dies, then at the start of the next turning point, you only get 1 fieldcraft point. So it's important to keep him alive. And he kind of pairs along with the Vox Relay Beacon, which is an operative, and you place it at the start of the game, or when you're deploying. You can deploy it anywhere in your territory, and it cannot move. It's just like a little radar dish that sits there, and it has 1 APL, and its ability is it gives out 1 AP within 6 inches. Enemies can ignore its control range. You can ignore its control range if you're shooting an enemy that's in control range of it. So I'm glad they specified that, because now melee teams can't just charge in and hide in melee with it. And it's got 3 wounds and no melee. It doesn't do anything but give out APL. And I don't think some people will probably disagree with me here, but I think that with these 2 operatives, it's maybe the best comms in the game, even more than the Kazarkin, which can do his action twice and has no line of sight requirement or range requirement, which is very good. But my counter to that is, this is 2 separate operatives. You're getting an extra activation, and so you have an extra kind of throwaway activation to kind of wait out your opponent a little bit with the Vox Beacon. And the Vox operator, because he can only give out 1 APL, he has another action, so he can at least get around the board. A lot of the time, the Kazarkin comms at the end of the game is just still sitting in the deployment zone, and maybe you needed him to do something, but he's not in a place to do it because you're using both his actions to give out APL every turn. So
I always found that if my Kazarkin comms was anywhere but my back line, that stuff went horribly wrong. And
yeah, exactly. So at least this Vox operator, he can get around. He can give out an APL and then move somewhere, and at least be in a position late in the game to do something if he needs to. So that's my take. They're better than they're better than the Kazarkin comms. But I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid take. So that's all the operatives. Yeah, pretty interesting roster. I think I like having a lot of cool specialists that do different stuff. They've got a lot of heavy weapons, which seems kind of annoying, but they've got so many ways to shoot outside of their activation that it doesn't really matter too much. So pretty cool roster of dudes.
Can you, with the Vox, can you give out 2 APL, or can you give?
No, the Vox operator, I think, he can only do the action once, and then the Vox Relay Beacon only has 1 APL. So he can only do it once. So you can give out 2 APL per turning point, but it comes from 2 different operatives.
Gotcha. I was confused.
Which is why I think they're good, because it's an extra activation to delay what make your opponent do more stuff before you have to activate your serious power pieces.
Yeah, the Kazarkin one specifically says you can do it twice, so that's why I was confused there.
Yeah, I don't think that the Spectre one actually says
it doesn't have that.
Twice. Yeah, so that's operatives. Am I going on too long here, or can I talk about ploys?
Yeah,
let's keep going.
Yeah,
cool.
I think we're making good pace through this.
Nice. All right. So strat ploys. They've got some interesting ones. So they have Disappear, which lets them reposition in the strategy phase. If you do that, you can't move towards any enemy operatives, and you can't move towards their deployment zone. And you can't reposition during the turning point if you use this ploy. So it's a good heavy. Yeah. So good for getting someone out of a tight spot. Like maybe last activation of a turning point, you ran up to steal control of an objective, and then you're just kind of hanging out in the open. You can use this to run away and get back into a better position where you're not just going to get killed at the start of the turning point. You could also throw your Melta up in your opponent's face at the end of the turning point, and then gamble that you're going to win initiative. And if you lose it, then you just use this ploy and run away. Or you throw 2 operatives up, and if you win initiative, then you reposition one back and activate the other one to blow someone's face off, or some, I don't know. Some interesting usage for that. Then they have ambushing volley, which gives you dev 1 on all your weapons, and it does not say on your data sheet, so you can use it with frags and cracks. And the only exception is you can't get dev 1 with the Stubber's stun profile, because that would be a little bit insane. And there's a lot of restrictions on it, though. First, you have to not be a valid target for the person you're shooting when you activate, and you have to be more than 3 inches away from them. So it's not super easy to use, but still pretty good at getting some extra damage in, especially with the Sergeant and his rending lethal 5 profile. So
what's the Hand of the Archon thing kind of like this, where if you start and you're not a valid target?
That's flip a hit to a crit, I think.
Yeah, you'd get to switch, a normal hit to a crit.
Yeah, so that one's less restrictive though, because the only thing with that is you just can't be a valid target to the enemy operative when you activate. This has that, and you have to be 3 inches away from them, which is it's fine. Then they have hidden engagement, which is, I think this is literally the exact same ploy that Jaegers have, even down to the name. I think it's the same name, where you get balanced if you're within cover from your target's perspective. This is fine. But a lot of shooting in Kill Team, though, is going to happen within 2 inches. And if you're within 2 inches, you're not in cover. So it's can be hard to take advantage of unless your opponent is giving you things to shoot at. But this team is very starved for rerolls, so you can get a lot of use out of it, especially if you're against like a shooty team. And then they have patience, which is you get to during the turning point, after you use this ploy, you can choose at any time one of 2 things. Not at any time, but you can either choose to skip an activation, or you can on your last activation you get relentless on your weapons in shooting or fighting. This is, I think you use this almost every turning point, other than turning point 1. It's nice because relentless is always nice on anything. For your last activation, throw a relentless Melta up in someone's face. But I think the skip activation is also like sneaky really good, because it ties up the activation count with most horde teams. Because this is an 11 activation team, so this effectively gives you a 12th activation. And if you're using this like kind of mid to late in the turning point, you can really like throw your opponent's tempo and game plan off. If you just are like, all right, I'm not going to activate, you'd have to go again, and then they have to choose to waste an activation on an important operative or something. So I think that the skip activation is going to be really important. You only get to choose one of those things, though. You can't get the skip and relentless. So,
did you find yourself in your
interesting ploy? I think that's probably their most important strategy ploy. And then firefight ploys, they've got dodge, which is fallback for 1 APL. Pretty situational, but it's always useful, especially if you're, it'll let you fall back and shoot, or you can fall back when you're stunned. So, a lot of teams have that, I think. So that's nothing much to say about that. And they have silent killers, which allows you to charge from conceal, and your first hit, if you fight, gets +3 damage. So this is pretty good, I think, for like finishing off a wounded Space Marine. Their melee is mostly hitting on 4s, so can be a little bit risky, but I think the math of hitting a 4-up on 3 dice is like 87%. But I proved last night that doesn't mean anything, because I charged a Tomb Crawler on 1 wound and whiffed all my rolls and had to spend my last CP getting a 4-up. So interesting ploy. It's nice to be able to charge on conceal. Probably best used on the Sergeant because he hits on 3s. So yeah, it's pretty cool one. Then they have sharp reactions. This is the one that allows you to use a fieldcraft point against a concealed operative. Normally they have to be on engage for you to interrupt. but they do have to be within 8 inches of you. Yeah, this is useful for like if your opponent's just trying to run up and tap the objective or something. Like when I played against Eugene's Canoptic last night, he teleported a warrior through the wall onto my home objective to retrieve it at the start of turning point 2, and I spent the CP to fieldcraft against the concealed operative and threw a crack at him and blew his warrior up, and he never got to my home objective again. So pretty useful. And then they have prepared defense. This allows you to choose between either parrying before the normal resolving of dice happens, or you can double parry with your dice. This makes this team really good at surviving melee, I think. If your opponent only gets 3 hits, there's almost no melee weapons in the game that are going to do 8 damage to you in 1 hit. So if they only get 3 hits, you just use this ploy and double parry, and then you're fine. But in that case, though, you need 2 hits, because otherwise they just parry your 1 hit off and then have 2 successes to kill you with. So if you get 2 hits and your opponent only gets 3, then you can totally survive. Yeah, I think that's this one does have a bunch of restrictions on it, though. You have to be retaliating, and you have to be concealed or ready. And then Games Workshop, in classic Games Workshop fashion, hid a third restriction down at the bottom of the card instead of putting it at the top where the other restrictions are, where you cannot have interrupted with fieldcraft during the enemy operative's activation and use this ploy. So
seems like this team has a lot of like
read the whole card. There's always little shit in there that they forget to tell you about until the very end. Yeah, so that's all their ploys. Pretty interesting ones. I think I don't know how they're going to be feeling on. I don't know how they're going to be feeling on CP.
Frozen there?
He looks frozen to me.
He looks pretty still. I was just looking at his face, and I was like, man, he's really holding that face for a long time. You know, like no movement at all. So we're having some technical difficulty, so we will be right back. You probably won't.
All right, I'm not frozen anymore. Yay, I'm back. You guys can hear me again, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We're going equipment.
Yeah, equipment. So yeah, we just got through all the ploys. Into equipment, they have some pretty cool equipment, which makes it even better that they get 4 equipment or an extra equipment split the guide operative. So so they have the sniper overwatch, which I've talked about a couple times. I think this gives you a 4 attacks on 3s, 3/3 silent heavy dash dev 2 saturate profile, and on once per turning point on any operative. I think this is very good. You probably take this most of the time, not just for the weapon profile because it's better than your crappy las carbines, but also to be able to like flip back to conceal. Like if you are like, then this is another thing, like the loader being able to flip back to conceal, where people might fight me on this, but and I'm not sure if this is rules as intended, but I think rules is written. If you use this weapon with a fieldcraft shot, it allows you to flip from engage back to conceal, because it does have silent. So I'm not sure if that's intended, but it could be pretty funny if your opponent like goes on engage and runs out in the open, and then you shoot them with this weapon and flip back to conceal, and they were planning on shooting you, and now they have to pick a different target. Like that's not something I would like ever gotcha my opponent with. I would definitely tell them about that, so it probably wouldn't come up, but it would be pretty funny, I think. So
maybe if you're in the running for a golden ticket, though, maybe you don't remind.
Maybe leave that out.
Maybe leave it out. Like, there's an appropriate place to remind everyone of your rules, right? Which I know I have the problem doing that. Like, hey, don't worry, like I don't want to gotcha, but also like you can't walk them through your rules all the time.
Yeah, I really am like a big like fan of communicating with my opponent during a game, and like being like help if it's not like too serious of a tournament game or something, like helping them strategize like how they can like what moves they can make against me. And I feel like this team is going to create a lot of that. You're like, well, if you do that, I'm going to do this. If you do that, I'm going to do this. Like, you got to do something, but you're probably going to get killed for it. Anyways, yeah. So sniper Overwatch equipment, really good. I think probably one of the auto takes.
I think
then
it's
they
so
have,
cool too. Like that it's equipment, not a ploy. Also, that you're just like,
for sure.
Oh yeah, we're equipping this. Are you a off-stage sniper rifle guy, or are you a butt rifle guy that they're all just like carrying around like silencers that they can quickly
just keystering their weapons and just pull it out?
Yeah,
yeah. It's a pocket sniper.
Just unfolds it,
Yeah. Yeah. So cool equipment. Then they've got T-vid feed triangulation. I don't know exactly how that's intended to be said, but it's a TVID feed triangulation. Once per turning point, you can ignore obscuring. The restrictions are the enemy operative either has to be within 6 inches of your Vox relay beacon, or they have to be a valid target for a second friendly operative aside from the one that's doing the shot. I think this ignore obscuring is just very good in general. So I think this is another probably auto take equipment most of the time. And because you can set up fieldcraft shots no matter how obscure they are. Like you're up on the 3rd floor Vantage in Volcus and you can barely see the guy that's activating, and you just shoot him even though you can barely see him and it's super obscured, but you ignore the obscuring. So can kind of catch people out with that. So and then you can get around like the annoying like non-reciprocal obscuring shots that like tomb crawlers can do because their base is so huge type thing. So so that's nice to have. I think you usually take that one. Then they have Star Shell Flare. This one, they made it sound really cool in the article when they talked about it. I think when they
Mountainside.
The Mountainside tabletop article that they put out. They made it sound pretty cool, but I think it's kind of meh. It's basically a stun grenade that you can use in the strategy phase. And you can use it as many times as you want, once per turning point, until it succeeds. So it has the same restrictions as a stun grenade: 6-inch range, visibility, and you have to roll a 3-up. And it has the 1-inch blast. It's exactly the same as a stun grenade. I think you can also take stun grenades in addition to this equipment. So watch out, CB, in your Vespids. I'm coming to stun your ass. So it could be pretty useful, and I could see it like having use against some teams that like kind of develop in the strategy phase, like develop their threats in the strategy phase, like Chaos Cult. Like they turn someone into a torment, and then you're like, all right, that's the guy I'm stunning, and you stun them, and then they only have 1 APL, and they have to spend a CP if they want to fight you, charge and fight you. So I think it could be pretty useful on certain teams. I got to try it more. I used it in my first game against Celestians, and I failed every turning point. So I hated it from that moment. I was like, this sucks. And I'm a big fan of stun grenades. So, but I think if I had to choose between this and taking 2 stun grenades, I'll take 2 stun grenades because then I can use them both in the same turning point, and really screw up my opponent for the next round. Interesting equipment. I thought it was going to be like a little different than that. Like it was going to be, I don't know, give Seek Light or something against, like you shoot a flare up in the air and give Seek Light against someone or something. You reveal them to your team or something, or give your team Saturate or something. I don't know if that would be better than this, but I think it's okay. I don't think I'm going to take it very often. And then their last equipment is Advanced Camouflage. This gives you an action on all your operatives except for the Vox Beacon. That gives them super conceal, so they can't be shot by anything unless they're within 2 inches or they break your cover line. So I think this is really good, especially on Tomb World against teams that have Seek Light, like I don't know, just a bunch of teams with them, Battleclade and Canoptic and stuff. I used this last night when I played against Canoptic because the Geomancer has Seek Light, and he never was able to shoot my team. They were just all stacked up on light barricades and feeling just fine, not getting shot. And especially on Tomb World when they can open doors for free, It frees up their actions to use this because it does cost an APL. I think this would be interesting if they gave this like ignore saturate, which I talked about earlier being a problem for this team because a lot of teams have saturate, and I think that would be balanced because it wouldn't really make sense though, I guess, with super conceal, but
Yeah.
But you could use it while you're on engage and ignore saturate because it still costs you an action. So it's like I think it'd be balanced if they did that. I don't know. I just want them to get ignore saturate because
That's fair.
it's kind of annoying. But anyways, yeah, I think I'll take this sometimes, mainly against teams with Seek Light. But yeah, most of the time I think equipment. I'm taking sniper rifle, the ignore obscuring, light barricades, cracks, and one other thing, stuns or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I could see the camo cloaks being really useful, like to, since it's an action, you're gonna say like run your heavy gunner up to a pretty advanced position, but like kind of out there, put him in cover, and then maybe run the gunner up there or the loader up there next to him, do the same thing. And then you're setting up for the next turn on there. So I think there's definitely some play with that. I think there's, like when you look at the team as a whole, you see just like how many tricks there are to it, and then people like you started discussing it, and you're like, oh, there's a lot to this team. There's a lot going on here, and I think they're going to catch a lot of people off guard, real bad. Like,
absolutely.
And keeping like even if you know the team, keeping track of all their tricks and not exposing yourself to any is going to be difficult also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I really like this team. I've only got a couple games in with them, but I'm having a lot of fun with them, and I see it. I see the power. I think if I can get them ready in time, I might play them at the Mox tournament if you guys will allow it, because it'll be like a week after they come out. But yeah, if I can get them ready in time, I think I'll take them to that, see how they do. But yeah, I'm having a really good time with this team, and I think other people will too. And for some people, the team's not going to click, and for some people, playing against them is going to be a nightmare, especially like shooting teams. But yeah.
So you got 3 games in, you said Celestians, Canoptic. What was the third team you played against?
I played against someone on TTS randomly, Nemesis Claw.
Okay. How'd you do in those games? It sounded like you were able to beat Eugene, but that was his first game with Canoptic.
I won all 3 games.
Okay. Nice.
So, but it's like I took Battleclade to a tournament right after they came out last year and went 3-0, even though they were really crappy because no one knew what to do against them. So I think it's kind of a similar case here. Like Eugene is a really, really good player, but he's playing against a team that's brand new, and he was playing a new team himself. So I think I need to get more games in with them. Maybe I'll play a couple more games and then decide that they suck. But for right now, I'm really high on them. I don't think
models are awesome.
Models are so awesome. Yeah,
they're great.
I wish that they were a little more like. I wish they would have just come out and been like, these guys are Gaunt's Ghosts. Like these guys are Tanith. And like giving them some cool,
Max would have
stuff, but
lost their shit. So
they even hinted at it in an article. They were like, "Yeah, you could. I guess I see the similarities. I guess they could be like Tanith.
Maybe
if you guys want, I guess.
I have
like that.
I have the Gaunt's Ghost box, so maybe I'll build a couple of those guys up, and then so I can have an extra trooper and stuff. So, Tanner, did you find? Did you have a basic strategy for the games that you've played? Are you sitting back? Are you letting the opponent come to you? So
for the most part, kind of letting my opponent come to me. I do like throwing Meltas in people's face. So I've been throwing my Melta at people for the most part. But I think they are going to have to play like a very reactive sort of play style. Just in the nature of their faction role being so reactive to what your opponent's doing. You're just going to have to set up threats all over the place and be like, all right, come try and do anything, and I will make you pay for it.
Do you see a lot of similarity with them in Battleclade? You said you were playing Battleclade in the tournament in the league.
I do actually see a little bit of similarity just with their ability to shoot out of their activation.
Mm-hmm.
I think is that's really the thing that always throws people off with Battleclade is like that guy's activated, he's done.
Yeah.
And then you network counteract in this team. It's like the loader runs up and is like, all right, shoot again. And I think like they have a lot of potential with their interrupts to kill people on their own activation, and like everyone knows that like that is such a huge momentum killer when you charge someone and you're like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy, and then you whiff the roll and you die to an operative that you shouldn't have died to.
Yeah.
Like I played against Michael Jeter in a tournament a couple weeks ago. He was playing Kazarkin and I was playing Brew Brothers, and he had his Melta in control range of my my bomber guy because he breached a wall right next to me and just had me stuck there. And I had 4 wounds left because I took 3 damage from the breach damage. And he was like, all right, I'm just going to finish you off on my activation, like the next turning point. He whiffs the roll, and I rolled 2 crits and a hit, which is 8 damage with that melee profile, and I killed him. And then I was like, all right, cool. And then activated and walked up and bombed and killed 2 more of his guys. And like that, him dying on his own activation absolutely won me that game. Like I was in position to lose that game if that didn't happen. So yeah, dying on your own activation is just such a killer.
Yeah. Dice.
It's like you die and then your opponent activates and kills a second operative, like
yeah.
So
or 2 more, and then
or 2 more,
cool.
yeah.
You're like, cool. That went exactly. You're like, that was going to be the play for me. I was going to kill your entire team, and then I just whiffed. Like, if it would have been that one play, it would have been a different game there.
Yeah, exactly. So this team has more potential than any other team to kill people outside of their own activation. So, outside of your own operative's activation, kill enemies within their activation. So, yeah, that's going to be their strength. Their weakness is probably that they don't have great rerolls. Even though they hit on 3s. If they're shooting in point blank, then they're hitting on 4s, which hitting on 4s sometimes is fine, but it can be pretty feels bad. So yeah, especially when you can't reroll any of your dice unless you spend command points for rerolls. But yeah, I think
lack of rerolls is going to be one of the hard things for this team to overcome.
Yeah, and I think like having a 5-up save is not a good trade-off for getting a double cover save. I'd rather not. I'd rather just have them not have that roll and get a 4-up save. I think it can be really clutch, but like in like high level like tournament competitive play, like and in a lot of games in general too, like most of the shooting is going to happen within 2 inches. Like people aren't going to be sitting out there exposing operatives that you're just going to be able to shoot and then take advantage of your double cover saves. So, yeah.
For your games, so their archetypes are infiltration and recon. Did you find yourself picking a certain tac op?
Yeah, that's the tough part for me is most of the teams that I play are usually seek and destroy and security. So that's been a little bit tough to get the hang of, but I think it really depends on the matchup, but I think Steel Intelligence is probably really good on them. Sure. I ran Steel Intelligence into Celestians to good effect. Against Canoptic, I did Retrieval, which I really didn't know what to do for my tac up against Canoptic because we were on Tomb World, so they could go on guard. So I don't want to do something like flank where they can, it's hard for me to get into a position where I'm not sitting in the open on their side of the board. Just we were doing like a really annoying board too. So
those exist for sure.
Yeah. So I did Retrieval and just kind of accepted that I wasn't going to get to his home objective and was only going to get 4 on it. So I think Retrieval is just like a good safe pick. I feel like Recon tends to just have a safe pick, like they had Plant Beacons last season. So they always have like a safe pick tac op. But yeah, flank could work against a lot of teams. And I'm not really a fan of plant devices. track enemy and scout enemy movement, I think, are both risky and terrible.
Yeah, generally.
But, I haven't actually played track enemy, so I can't. I guess I could be totally wrong about that.
That do track enemy all right, but I think
Battle Play is really good at scout enemy movement because they can scout 4 operatives on their first activation of the turning point. So they can do that. But like, I don't like tac ops that incentivize you to not kill your opponent. Like, what was the one that was the infiltration one last season? Implant, yeah. Not a fan of like having to think around. Like if someone leaves an operative for me to kill, but I don't want to, and they're the only operative that I have a shot against, but I can't kill them because I'm going to lose tac op points. I don't really like that. So
it's called kill team. You know.
Yeah, like, exactly. And I know points team, but which is exactly why, because killing people is points. So. I'd rather do stuff that doesn't involve letting my opponent survive and then coming and subsequently ruining my whole game plan because I let them live. So I don't know. We'll see. I did against Nemesis Claw, I did flank, and that worked pretty well because they only have 6. They only have so many operatives they can use to try and hunt me down, and I kind of kept them off my side of the board with the threat of being shot if they moved anywhere. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. Thanks, Tanner, for going through those. I'm excited to try them out too. I feel like
me too.
With Kasrkin getting declassified, I feel like this is maybe kind of the spiritual successor to Kasrkin.
Yeah.
So in some ways with some of their some of the tricks they have. And it's, a guard team, like a 10 man guard team to replace them, even though you got 11 activations. So
yeah. And I don't think there's any teams that can shoot. Oh, I'm probably wrong about this, but I don't think there's any teams that can shoot a melta-gun or a rocket launcher 3 times in a turning point, which this team can do. So 4 times if you get out activated and you can counteract, but that's probably never going to happen.
I mean, a man can dream, right? So,
yeah.
Just your melta going crazy. They can't get anywhere near it because it just keeps going deleting.
Yeah,
people, right.
Exactly. So.
Well, yeah, the box comes out May 23rd. So nice thing is it's Memorial Day weekend here. So you'll have a whole weekend to build them up before the tournament the following weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be out at the Gorge that weekend. So I'm going to have to speed assemble and paint them throughout the week.
Just take them with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I could do that.
You're not on the boat the whole time. So.
I don't know, but I'll try and get them. I'll try and get them ready. I'll get them table ready. And bring them out and see how they do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them. So,
I'm
excited for the Mox tournament too. It's looking real cool. So, have we posted the full menu for everyone?
Yeah. Actually, I totally forgot about it last week. So I was going to do that, and I forgot to make an announcement on Friday. But I'll do that. I'll do that this week. If you listened to the podcast last week, you got the menu, but there's still, and we got the update. I think there's about we got about 10 tickets left. So May 31st at Mox Boarding House in Portland, Oregon. $50 gets you 3 rounds of Kill Team and a drink and an entree from Mox. So kind of like our if you did our Rum Runners tournament that we did a year ago, it's going to be kind of like that, except like full menu this time rather than just the amazing flatbread we have. So some more options for you. So, and more than just rum too, even though the rum was amazing.
For real. We got some really good choices on the menu this year. So.
Are we busting out the long team or the tall team? What's the word?
We'll probably do some weird boards. As long as it all depends, because my partner wants to go to a concert the night before. She's been talking about this concert for a long time, and tickets are really expensive. And so if she buys tickets, I've got to go to it. So weirdness of board depends on whether I go to concert the night before or not, and if Chuck is setting up by himself. So.
Well, the good news is, Tyler, we have to set up Sunday morning anyways. So
okay. Well, I guess we're setting up Sunday morning. So I am. We're getting some weird boards then.
All right. Well, hit me up if you guys need help. I'll come in early and help you guys set up.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're going to have hopefully 18 boards to set up. So if you're on the KTC Discord, I did a poll and I did long team, tall team, Descent, Octarius, CQB, and Beta Decima actually. And the top vote getters were actually Descent boards, Beta Decima, and Long Team. So
heck yeah.
I'm going to be able to bust on my Beta Decima. It's the New England Kill Team style, so you don't have to worry about the real crappy stuff. So, but Tanner, anything you want to plug? Anywhere people can find you, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much just on Discord, but we're trying to start up this thing with the Vancouver Kill Team scene. We've got a league going right now. Chuck's in that. It's going pretty good. And we've been trying to get more tournaments going.
June 14th, right?
June 14th. Yeah, we've been doing them at Mindtaker and Contrarian. This one's going to be at Fate and Fury, which is kind of like in between those two stores. I've done some 40K tournaments there. It's pretty cool spot. And I'm looking forward to it. But we're trying to get, monthly or at least every other month tournaments going here in Vancouver. We've had pretty good turnouts to the ones that we've done so far. So excited to try and keep that going. So shout out Rich, Jed, Chris, Ryan, CB. All those guys are working with them to try and make that happen and get us more tournaments, because that's everyone loves spending 8 hours with their friends rolling dice and having fun. So
for real, yeah, you guys are killing it up in Vancouver too. It's so cool to see the Vancouver scene like take off. You guys have like your own like kind of little culture too. I noticed like the Vancouver section of the Discord, there's people that only post in the Vancouver section. There'll be a whole discussion in the main Kill Team chat about the new premieres, and then in the Vancouver section will be the same discussion about the same premieres. We're like, you guys can come out of this section and interact with the rest of us. You're not stuck in here.
I'll try and break everyone out of that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to show our faces here. We got to let people know that we're here and we play Kill Team and we mean business.
No, you guys are great.
Roll dice.
I need to come up on a weekday and play some Kill Team with y'all sometime. So
come on up. Wednesday is the day we're at Contrarian. So we're doing the league right now. So if you are going to come up, just hit someone up and make sure that there's not going to be, there's someone available to play with. So
yeah, so that's so June 14th. Tickets are $25. We'll put a link in the show notes. You can find it on the Discord as well too. And $5 of that goes towards store credit for refreshments, I believe too. Yeah, $5 credit for food and drinks from Fate and Fury. So.
Yeah, they serve all sorts of food there. So yeah, it's a good place. Should be a good time.
That's where I started playing Kill Team.
Is it? Yeah, I've only played 40K there. I think I went to 2 tournaments there. But the guy, I don't know if he's the owner. His name's Cody. He might be. He's either the owner or the manager. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
It should be good.
It's where I started playing 40K, and where I started a little Kill Team scene there on Tuesdays. I used to go there, and
they're bringing it back right now.
Yeah, I know. I hear it's going pretty good. I know that is blanking on me right now. Keaton's there all the time.
Keaton,
Vesper as well too.
Yeah, Rich and Jed are starting to go out there. My Tuesdays are usually busy, so I haven't been out. But they're kind of keeping it. They're kind of keeping it hidden in a private DM right now, I think. So maybe I'll try and break them out of that to try and get some more people pulled into that, make that a little bit more of a scene, so that people can't make it on. Because usually we're at Contrarian on Wednesday nights, and then people are at Mindtaker on Sunday mornings. So if you can't make it to those days, maybe Tuesday works better for some people. So maybe I'll try and break them out of that secret chat they have and get it into somewhere public where other people can know that it's happening and come join in. I think they're also talking about maybe playing some Warcry too.
Yeah.
So if that's your thing, I think Warcry is pretty fun.
It's cool. Yeah. Warcry is like one of the best games to do like a single day, like little narrative campaign with like 4 of your friends on, that's it's real strong point, I think. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tanner. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Tyler, you want to do all the you get to do all the plugs.
You can check us out at Vox Cascadia Podcast at patreon.com, Vox Cascadia on Instagram, Lowbrow Minis on Instagram. Chuck is Painting Cave Minis. Connor is Spanaway on everything. And so and then we're also on YouTube. Also, you can watch our videos rather than just listening to our voices, which is what we assume most of you do, it does help out a lot when you at least watch a little bit of the video on YouTube, maybe copy the link or whatever, and you can check us out at Mox Cascadia Podcast on there too.
And when you watch the YouTube, also I go and put all the rules up there too. So as we're talking about stuff, you'll see all the rules there, so you can reference them as we're going through them.
Or any of like the weird stuff we reference, you'll get little
some weird shit up there too.
Absolutely. You know, like you never know what you're gonna see in the actual video. Sometimes I watch them just to see all the weird stuff he puts in it. So you guys should definitely check it out, because I'm not baiting you at all. Anyways, we love you. Good night.